to Shaq's house. Shaq's house. Shaq. You're now in Shaq's house.
What's up, Shaq Housers? How y'all doing? It's your boy Shaq House here. Yeah, sorry I've kept you waiting for a long time already. But I've been down to Florida for the past for 2 weeks ago. Fun time down there, man. Fun time visiting my friend, seeing him get married. Yeah, that was fun. It was my first time down in Florida too, and I'm going back. I had mad fun down there. But of course, y'all didn't tune in to hear me talk about my vacation habits or nothing like that at all. What am I going to talk about today? Two things. First of which, Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, I finally got around to seeing that film too. And what did I think? Well, I'll tell y'all in a bit, but here's some brief takes on it and some brief facts about the film. The film was originally scheduled to be released in 2019, right? The summer of 2019. But a combination of scheduling conflicts, reshootings, and COVID ultimately delayed it up until now, 3 years later. And what's it called? It takes place 30 years after the original film, right? And Tom Cruise, of course. And mind you, Tom Cruise, he was on screen right before the opening credits of the film, right? Like some kind of thing that AMC theaters, because that's where I saw it, in AMC theater. AMC theater, they had him in the beginning of the film give like an intro for the film, telling viewers to enjoy the film and what they can expect, etc., etc. And another thing, Top Gun Maverick is the first time that Tom Cruise has actually had an opening weekend where a film starring him grossed over $100 million. I'm like, how the hell has that not happened? How the hell has that not happened before? The Mission Impossible films, it didn't happen there. And mind you, he can do those forever. He's in good shape. He's damn near 60. He'll be 60 years old this year, Tom Cruise. And what's it called? I know even though he colors his hair and does some Botox to his face to make him look not that old, but what's it called? I also think he drinks a vial of blood as well, too. Yeah, he's some kind of vampire to make himself look that young and keep himself in that well of enough shape to be able to do his own stunts in a Mission Impossible film. But anyway, Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, this film, it takes place over 30 years after the original. And Tom Cruise, he's now a captain, and he's reprising his original role as Pete Mitchell, the hotshot pilot whose call sign is Maverick. Yeah, he's earned the rank of captain when he really should be an admiral, but he didn't want to do anything that put him behind a desk. He still wanted to be a pilot. Yeah, he likes the adrenaline rush. He likes to show off his skill set. Yeah, he likes to do his own thing. Yeah, the actors in the film. Well, anyway, the plot-wise, Tom Cruise, Maverick gets called back in the Top Gun, the dogfighting school over in California where they teach Navy pilots how to be better pilots, especially when it comes to fighting enemy aircraft. Yeah, Tom Cruise is called back into there, and we learned that in the first film, he wanted to go back to be an instructor at Top Gun. In this film, we learned that shit only lasted for about 2 months. But yeah, he's called back there now by John Hamm. John Hamm's character, if you remember John Hamm from Mad Men, yeah, John Hamm, he plays Admiral Bo Simpson, call sign Cyclone. Yeah, he won the Top Gun trophy after Iceman. Speaking of Iceman, Val Kilmer, yeah, he reprises his role as Iceman here too. And even though we just saw him in like a picture in the trailers, yeah, he's actually in the film as well. But we'll get to that later. Yeah, the pilots in the original film, they were mostly white guys. Yeah, with one black guy, Clarence Gilliard Jr.'s character, Marcus Williams, call sign Sundown. Yeah, he was the only black guy in the film. But this time around, they got like a more diverse, more mixed bag of pilots, including a female pilot. Who are the actors besides John Hamm? And Hamm's character is a real hard ass. He doesn't like Maverick at all. and it's because it was Iceman. Yeah, Val Kilmer's character. He's an admiral now, and he's the one that ordered that Maverick return to Top Gun to be an instructor to a new group of younger pilots. That recent graduates of Top Gun, in fact. Yeah, who we got? We got Miles Teller. He plays Lieutenant Bradley Bradshaw, call sign Rooster. He's Goose's son. If you recall, Goose, played by Anthony Edwards in the first film, he was Maverick's best friend, and he accidentally got killed during a training exercise. Who else? Monica Barbaro, she plays Lieutenant Natasha Trace. Yeah, call sign Phoenix. And her Rio is Robert Floyd, call sign Bob. Yeah, that's his actual call sign, Bob. Yeah, and he's played by Lewis Pullman. Yeah, Lewis Pullman is actually the son of Bill Pullman. Yeah, the president from the 2 Independence Day movies. Yeah, where in the first one he acts as a fighter pilot at the end of the film, so it comes full circle here with his son, sort of, kind of. Let's see who else. Glenn Powell, he plays Lieutenant Jake Saracen, aka call sign Hangman, and he's the closest thing we got to Iceman in this film. Ed Harris and Jennifer Connelly also have roles in this film too. A side note, it's like a reunion with Ed Harris and Jennifer Connelly from 2002's A Beautiful Mind. What else? When we first see Maverick in this film, though, he's like Johnny from Cobra Kai. He's like a guy who was big in the 80s, reached his peak back then, but never wanted to evolve. But in Maverick's case, it's slightly different. He may dress the same as he did in the first Top Gun film, and he even has the same helmet that he had back then. But his pilot skills can't be denied. Here's some thoughts on the film. Of course, the original was directed by Tony Scott, the late Tony Scott. I wish he was here today to see what he thought of the sequel. The helmets, the helmets that the pilots had in the first film, I thought those were cooler. The designs were cooler between the pilot and their Rio, with the color schemes being reversed sometimes. But they had a consistency to them too. They all had the same font on their helmets. These newer pilots, they got their helmets are bigger. Granted, times have changed, but the font on each of them and the designs just look, doesn't stand out like the original guys do. And Mavericks, of course, he still has his original helmet, and that's a fan service item right there for anybody who's a fan of the original Top Gun film and old enough to remember it. And speaking of fan service, they incorporate a lot of shit from the original film into this one too, like some dialogue. Like when they have a rooster say, "Come on, Mav, do some of that pilot shit." That's what his father did in the first film. And also, it's been noted that Kelly McGillis, who played Charlie in the first film, and Meg Ryan, Goose's wife, yeah, they didn't reprise their roles in this film. I mean, Kelly McGillis, she's very self-aware. She knows how she looks. She's like, "I'm fat, I'm old, and I'm not age appropriate, and I'm overweight. I can't do that role." I'm like, yeah, you're right. She's right, because she did not age well. What else? And the call signs in these films, the pilot names, they were cooler in the first film. Hollywood, Wolfman, Iceman, Slider, Maverick, Goose, Chipper, Sundown, Cougar, Merlin. What's it called? These pilots, Phoenix, and her Rio, Robert Floyd, he couldn't do no better than Bob. The fuck out of here. Who else? Hangman, Payback, Fanboy. I mean, fuck, even the older pilots in the first film, they had cooler names. Jester and Viper. And a big theme of this movie is like the old school versus the new school generation, right? I mean, all the pilots in here, Maverick and these newer guys, they're all Top Gun graduates. But they think Maverick's a washed-up Navy pilot. When we first see Maverick, well, not when we first see him, but when they first see him, he's in a bar. He's in a bar owned by Jennifer Connelly's character, Penny Benjamin. If you recall from the first film, Penny Benjamin was a name. She was the Admiral's daughter that was mentioned twice in the original film, but never had a character portraying her until now. And she owns the bar that Maverick is in, has a daughter of her own, and what's it called? She's got plenty of bar rules which Maverick unintentionally breaks. Has to buy around for the whole house, and ultimately gets thrown out by the same pilots that the next day he ends up having to train. And when they see him, they still think of him as a washed-up old guy. And Rooster has animosity with him too because of how his father passed away. But Maverick makes it interesting in his first practice run as an instructor for the newer pilots. He says, "Okay, let's make it interesting. Whoever loses has to do 200 push-ups." Guess who loses every time? It's not Maverick, not once. Yeah. How's that for old? What else? Val Kilmer. It was good to see Val Kilmer back on film again. But personally, based on how he looks and how they incorporated a lot of his real life shit into his character, I think this is going to be his last role, unfortunately. What else? Oh yeah, Joseph. What's it called? Thing I like the dogfighting scenarios in the film. Those were cool. They still don't top the original. Those were more fun to watch. And also, the original. People say that this film tops the original. I don't think so. I mean, both films are signs of the times that they were made. 86, 2022. Yeah, and another thing, apart from the call signs and the helmets, Top Gun Maverick lacks the testosterone that the original had that gets viewers hyped up. Yeah, and also, it doesn't have this. Yeah, the original Top Gun soundtrack. That's right, this right here. Yeah, it doesn't. The soundtrack on this film right here goes hand in hand with the original. This sequel, it won't do that. I don't believe it will. Also, Joseph Kosinski, he directed this film as well. And even though I was kind of trepidatious and worrisome about this film coming out a good 30 years after the original, I had to remind myself that Kosinski, he's had success with legacy films, including the aptly titled Tron Legacy from 2010, which was a sequel to the original Tron from 1982. Yeah, Tron Legacy was superior to the original in terms of plot, special effects, even the soundtrack too, courtesy of Daft Punk. Yeah, like I said, Top Gun Maverick is not better than the original. No, both of them are signs of the time, and they've been made vast improvements in what you can do in film and special effects now and CGI and whatnot, but the original Top Gun, that's near and dear to my heart. Alright, what am I going to talk about next? Let's talk about The Boys, Season 3. Yeah, it aired this past Friday, the first 3 episodes of Season 3, and they pull no punches with how they take a colossal shit on the superhero genre. Yeah, me and my friend Andrew Eschman, who I do the other podcast, the Wall of Soundtrack from Roadtunes Reviews. A year ago, we reviewed The Boys, The Boys soundtrack specifically, but we also had fun in looking at how it's a sharp satire of the superhero genre, portraying like what would happen if superheroes were real. They'd be marketed by corporations. They'd be having movies that are as big as the ones we see from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in real life, merchandise, but they would be egotistical assholes who need to be babysat and need to have good PR reps. If you recall from the end of Season 3, Huey, his character, played by Jack Quaid, he joins Congresswoman Victoria Newman, right, in order to be part of her Bureau of Superhuman Affairs or whatever. The ones that go after all the superhuman criminals that are still out there. Yeah, the Seven, they're still around, of course, and dysfunctional as ever. Homelander, he's losing his fucking mind. And he's still under a lot of media scrutiny because of his affair with Stormfront, who was revealed to be a Nazi last season. A Nazi directly from the Third Reich. And speaking of which, I think, and a lot of her character is a satire on what Donald Trump was doing when he was president, articulating his base's most racist fears. Because in the show, Stormfront, she's got Storm Chasers, a group that worships her and her racist dogma, running around talking shit. Meanwhile, the boys still comprise of Carl Urban's Billy Butcher, Frenchie, Kamiko, and Huey himself. Huey's like a liaison between the Congresswoman, who we now know is a superhuman person herself based on the last season. Yeah, how she can just stare at somebody and make niggas' heads go explosion like scanners and whatnot. Yeah, and what else? Their first mission though, this is the first episode, and this shocked the shit out of me. They go after a guy called Termite, whose power is that he can shrink down to like damn near microscopic size, or like less than an inch at most, I guess. But they have him at a party. Like, what's it called? It's like his power and the situation look like a gay porn parody of Ant-Man. And maybe because The Boys was released during Gay Pride Month, June right now, I guess they're incorporating a lot of that in there, a lot of that sentiment in there, because I'll get to some of that later for what they do in the show. But with Termite, yeah, let's just say like Victoria Newman, he's a head popper. Yeah, a head popper. But they capture him by putting him in like a little baggie of coke, and when they dump him out of the bag onto the table, he's like, he's had a metric Belushi of coke, as they call it on the show. A metric Belushi of coke. I want to use that. I want to use that term. That's funny. Yeah, the Butcher, his arc is that he's wary about taking something called V-24, which comes from the Vought Corporation that manages all the superheroes. Yeah, the V-24 is going to give a regular person superpowers for 24 hours, but he's reluctant to take it. I don't blame him. And Vought Corporation even has their own amusement park too. Yeah, this is another thing that goes in line with the whole Gay Pride Month, I think. The food choices in Voughtland, especially in Brave Maeve's Inclusive Kingdom, because you remember Queen Maeve's character, she's a lesbian on the show, as was revealed last season. The food choices, the writers had fun with this. Yeah, they're trying to like be a satire on inclusiveness, especially during Gay Pride Month. They have Brave Maeve's Veggie Tacos, BLM BLTs, Woke Walk, and LGB Turkey Legs. Yeah, the writers are having fun with that. Giancarlo Esposito, he's back as a Stan Edgar, the CEO of the Vought Corporation. And he's still the only nigga that can put Homelander in his place. And to prove that point, he makes Erin Moriarty's character, Starlight, he makes her co-captain of the Seven, much to Homelander's jealousy. And Homelander is infantile as fuck. And that's what makes him dangerous. He's narcissistic, juvenile, and he at least he's not sucking milk anymore like he was never breastfed. But he still goes in a fetal position whenever he's scared now and he's by himself. Mean as fuck to the other members of the Seven though. But I think that this might be the season where they actually try to do him in, because the character of Soldier Boy, yeah, they want to know how he died, because apparently he was as strong as a Homelander, right? And what's it called? They're looking for a weapon that killed him that they could potentially use in the Homelander. What else? Mother's Milk. Yeah, Mother's Milk. He comes out of retirement and rejoins the boys because he was back with his wife and his kid for a little bit. The supers are even on reality shows now. One such show called American Hero, where they're trying to decide who's going to get a slot on the Seven. The Deep, that fake-ass Aquaman, Namor the Submariner, date rapist motherfucker. Yeah, he gets brought back on the Seven, but he's still Homelander's bitch. Homelander has him doing all kinds of shit as a humiliation tactic. What else? Oh yeah, we learned that there was another superhero group before the Seven. They were called Payback, and they were active during the situation of the Iran-Contra thing back in the mid-'80s. There's also group homes, orphanages for superheroes now. And these kids, they just get dropped off there when their parents weren't equipped to take care of them. Like, here, take them, they're your problem. And Soldier Boy, the aforementioned Soldier Boy, he has a sidekick called Gunpowder, right? And Gunpowder, he's a rep for what's called the Vought Rifle Association, which is a clear satire on the NRA and the issue of gun control. That's once again a topic of discussion now. But will Congress do anything? Probably not. Yeah, The Boys season 3. This was a strong opener for it, I think. Yeah, they like to satirize a lot of shit. Yeah, much like how the comic book is, the one originally done by Garth Ennis. Yeah, it hates superheroes, hates them. It really drives home the notion of don't meet your heroes. Yeah. And Homelander, I would not want to meet that dude at all, man. He's like a satire of Superman and Captain America, but has all the image of a Nazi poster boy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, Ubermensch. And he's got the ego for it too. Prediction, he's going to kill Stan Edgar somehow before the series ends. Stan Edgar, he's one of my favorite characters in the show, because he said one truth that I think all people of color should know. I can't lash out like some raging entitled maniac. That is a white man's luxury. Whoever writes the lines in here is very sharp. Okay, I'm going to be continuing this weekly now. I'm going to be doing one thing on The Boys every week now. But tune in to see what I got come this Friday. Yeah, I'm going to have something on episode 4. Tune in then. Later.
Mansion, apartment.
Shack, house. Yes!
Yeah.